Research Network of Uganda, RENU, UICT, Uganda Institute of Information and Communication Technology, and the Holistic E-Learning Platform. Our agenda, we are going to start at exactly 9. I understand it's already 9. We are going to, from 9 to 10, we shall have an opening prayer. Then we shall have an introduction. Then we shall have the welcoming remarks from the coordinator, Ministry of Education and Sports. Then from 9:10 to 9:20, we shall go on and have a UICT or RENU representative. Then we shall have the remarks by the Ministry of Education and Sports. Then from 9:30 to 10, we shall have the ICT integration, where we shall have the head teacher of St. Joseph's College, Laibi, lead us into the presentation. Then we shall do the activity. Then we shall discuss the way forward. And then later on, we shall have the closing remarks from the Ministry of Education and Sports, and to be done by Mr. Ronald Jungu. However, as we start, it's going to be a long day. I would like to say that in case you have loaded the digital data, kindly let us utilize those who are using the MTN, we can utilize the 1 GB at 2,000, such that you can be able to run smoothly throughout the whole session. So you can dial *19#, and then you load the work from home bundle, the 1 GB, such that you can be able to have your 1 GB such that you can be able to finish up the session. Thank you so much once again for joining us. Allow me now to welcome a volunteer. Let me welcome any volunteer who wants to lead us in an opening prayer. Kindly raise up your hand, and then you take us through an opening prayer. Any volunteer?
You'll have to unmute the volunteer because I'm muting everyone for now.
Okay, Mr. Ronald. Okay. Any volunteer who wants to lead us in an opening prayer?
You need to raise your hand so that we unmute you.
In case you want to lead us in an opening prayer, have your hand raised. Okay, yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Patrick Odoy. You are welcome, Mr. Unmute, Mr. Patrick, and you take us to an opening prayer.
Okay. Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Mr. Patrick.
Yes, my name is Patrick Odoke, and I am attending from South Sudan. Kindly let us humble ourselves, and then we have our opening prayer. Dear Father, we thank you for this time, and we thank you for this initiative. We thank you for the good morning that you have given us, and we thank you for every member who is attending this workshop. We pray that you guide us, you take us through, and you give us wisdom such that we share issues that will develop our team, develop our country through your Son, Jesus Christ. We pray and believe. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Mr. Patrick Odoy from South Sudan. I think I had it well. We want to welcome all the teachers that have joined this call. Thank you so much for joining, and all the ED teachers. We want to welcome the ministry officials that have joined the call. You are most welcome. We want to welcome the UICT, Mr. Francis Willie. You are most welcome. And we want to welcome everyone that has spared the time to come and learn together how we can integrate ICT in the teaching of mathematics, more so the applied mathematics, but as well the concepts and the ICT will as well be well integrated into the pure mathematics. Like our theme sounds, we are enhancing professional knowledge and integration of ICT in the delivery of the mathematics lesson. We want to welcome you and we want you to enjoy the session. Thank you so much for coming. Allow me now to welcome the ministry representative, Mr. Ronald Dungu. You are most welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Kaziba. Ladies and gentlemen, we are delighted that we are meeting this morning, and it's a bright new morning here in Kampala in the Ministry of Education and Sports Building, Legacy Towers, 4th floor, and this is the Government Secondary Department. I know that my commissioner promised to join in, but he may be late. He will join in at any one time, and he will be able to talk to us as teachers across the country. And I want to thank the organizers for the effort you put in here. I want to thank all our partners who are joining in. I know that some of the teachers have been training with the Uganda Institute of Communication and Technologies, UICT, and they've got certificates. We thank you, UICT, for the work you've been doing. I also know that RENU has connected our schools to internet, and they are continuing to connect more schools to the internet. What is now left is for us to use the internet. And how do we use the internet is very critical. We need to use the internet to close the learning gap, and that is why we are here. And for the schools that are not yet on RENU, we are working day and night to ensure that many schools can connect to RENU. Because right now, if you're on a RENU network, your connectivity was boosted, was doubled for this event. And that's what we look out for. I just want to share my screen here and probably see if I can find this document here. Can I get it there? Okay, I have shared a link in the chat to a document online. First of all, a platform which is called Padlet.com platform. I have shared a link, and if you can get to that link, then you'll be able to get to a space that looks like this. And this is the space where we are going to capture quite a number of activities, including the photographs you are going to take where you are. So we'd like to request where you are, somebody should take some photographs to show us what happened, and they will be able to post that in this space, starting at the very second column here. In the first column, you will download a document that tells you about what we are going to do for the next 2 weeks. And we are up to promoting STEM research in secondary schools. And STEM is talking to science, technology, mathematics, and we are adding ICT as a critical component of STEM. And we want to see what is possible in our schools. So when you download that document, you will be able to read the reason why we are up today, this morning, and we are going to run from the 24th of June up to 15th July with quite a number of activities. And the activities will be listed in this document. And you can actually follow these activities because the link we have given you today is the same link that you're going to use. And our goal is to encourage research in STEM education within secondary schools in Uganda, but also internationally. So we shall have some international speakers during this period, and particularly for the head teachers, they will have Professor Padu, who will be speaking to them from one of the universities in America. We have quite a number of objectives we have listed, and for today, the objective we are taking is to encourage use of ICTs in STEM education. And we will have time later to discuss after the presentations, to discuss what are you going to do as a school or an individual to ensure that we begin the journey of using ICTs in teaching mathematics. For you, you are mathematics teachers, but also for the rest of the teachers in your schools. For those who would like to record, we are also recording this session, but if you want to do the recording your end, we shall also allow you to record, but we will share a recording, and that is what is most important. So when you go through this document, you will read about the few activities we've indicated that are possible, but the list can be built by you, and you'll be able to find the schedule of activities within the 2 weeks, all the way up to the last activity, the second last, which will be an agricultural show in Jinja. There will be an agricultural show in Jinja that is organized by the Ministry of Education together with the Ministry of Agriculture. And we expect the First Lady to be the guest of honor at that agricultural show. So it is a heavy week, but an interesting week. And that is what we are set to do starting today. So today we launch what we've called the STEM Research Fortnight. There is a fortnight between today and 8th July, where we would like to see a lot of activities happening at the national level, like we are sitting today, but also in the schools in between the major activities. And that week will end on 8th July with an A-level mathematics seminar for students. So we are starting with the A-level workshop for teachers, and we shall end with the A-level mathematics seminar for students. And then we'll get into another week where we try to see how do we close the learning gap between science and art subjects. So we stop talking about STEM and we talk about STEAM. So we talk about science, technology, arts, and mathematics, plus ICT embedded there. So we are asking you to think. We are asking you to think during this week. And when you think and you have something, please come back to this platform. Come back to this platform and click on the plus sign, and the plus sign will open a page for you here. And on this page, you will either type or upload. You can upload a document, you can upload a link. You could also upload a short video. So whatever you are able to do in these 2 weeks, or call it extended up to the 3rd week, you want you to capture it under the activities, the objectives we have listed, and those objectives, you will read them from the document here. Mr. Kaziba, with that, I want to close my communication here by restating how excited I am that we are meeting this morning. And please don't forget to take some pictures of where you are and let us see what happened on this day in your own space. But I will let you know when my commissioner is in so that we break the presentation and he speaks to us, because he's a busy man. he will be running off for other activities. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ronald Jungu, for representing the ministry. Thank you so much for the initiative. I want now to invite Mr. Willie Francis on behalf of UICT to take us through his presentation. Mr. Willie, you are most welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kaziba. I want to observe protocol. The Minister of Education team. I also want to recognize Rhino being part of this engagement, and then also want to recognize Holistic e-learning platform for initiating these great activities, and also want to appreciate the teachers who are logged in to ensure that we achieve this noble cause to make us move at the level at which the technology is moving. I also want to thank everybody, and especially the teachers who have been undergoing the trainings we have been conducting as Uganda Institute of Information and Communication Technology, in partnership with the different stakeholders. As Mr. Dungu has highlighted, IT is a tool we cannot do without. It's a tool that will which enables all other sectors to perform effectively. And as the UICT, it's part of our mandate, being a school, an institute under the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance. We are mandated to provide digital literacy training programs across the country. And I want to appreciate the Ministry of Education for giving us this platform to making sure that we reach out to teachers so that we can provide these programs. As you know, these programs are very expensive, but through our partnership, the International Telecommunication Union, we have been given these programs free of charge so that we can provide them, we can extend them to our communities so that they can become digitally literate. So basically what we are doing today with the Rhino, with the HELEP and Minister of ICT, Minister of Education and ICT, we are training TOTs. We are providing you these programs so that you can get these skills, and through acquiring these skills, you are able also to extend the same skills to your students and also to your people around your communities. As we go along, as we have programmed that to train 2 teachers from district support schools. Those district support schools will give them access to these platforms so that they can become also administrators, instructors, and teachers to be able to enroll fellow teachers and students to undertake these programs. So the program is going to reach all people, right from the top to the bottom. We want to see that anybody who can use a mobile device is able to use the ICT tools. And as you know, we are living in a digital environment, digital economy. We are moving away from analog, and if we don't move at the level at which technology is moving, then we shall look out. We shall be left out. And as the president has always emphasized, ICT is the driver of other sectors. So I just want to appreciate everybody, those who have undertaken these trainings and those who intend to take these trainings, that let us take this opportunity when these programs are still free and accessible for us. And I also want to urge you, school administrators, especially the head teachers, to encourage teachers to undertake these programs. There is no way we are going to run away from training using the ICT tools. And just for information, I want to inform you that last week, UICT received a grant from Arion Reality to set up a lab, a virtual argumentative virtual reality lab, which is going to change the dynamics of training, teaching in schools and in institutions. We are looking at setting up a virtual reality lab, and we are targeting STEAM as one of the subjects that we are going to conduct in this training, where we are going to handle teaching and learning complex and to provide a conducive environment for students to be engaged in the training. So this is an opportunity, and as a team whom we have been working with, this will be one of the things that we look at to work with the HELP, to work with the Ministry of Education, to work with RENO. RENO is a big partner in this case because they provide us access, they provide us internet connectivity, and this can also help us to reach out to people who are in the rural areas. So as mathematics teachers, virtual reality is one of the tools that we'll be rolling out. And before we roll out these tools and this program, where we intend to train about 5,000 teachers in using virtual realities, argumentative virtual reality, and then also VR, which is the VR, and then also mixed reality. So these are things we need to be prepared to be able to use these tools. We need to know the basic ICT tools. We need to know the intermediate basic tools. And when we know all this, then it will be easier for us to integrate IT into teaching mathematics. And then also we shall be also to be able to use these virtual realities, which will provide schools and teachers with the most sensory experience, and also provide amplified student engagement, whereby students will love to engage in teaching. You know, mathematics has always been a problem for students, but we're using these virtual realities. This will bring a lot of student engagement and interest in learning. So I just want to urge you members, as we roll out this program, when we get to you, let us embrace it. And I want to appreciate Mr. Dungu, because he has been very passionate on this, has been passionate on ensuring that we engage teachers right from the grassroots to the highest level, including administrators who make decisions. If our head teachers or administrators don't appreciate what we are doing, then it becomes very difficult to reach to the other levels of like the teachers. So I want to appreciate the teachers who have been part of this and who have ensured that they encourage their staff to participate into these programs. Without wasting time, I want to stop here, but I also want to encourage and also make an appeal that UICT recruits students at all levels, that is O level and A level. And we have for intakes, we have 2 intakes for students who undertake courses in telecom engineering, ICT, electrical and electronics, and as mathematics teachers, I would just want to urge you that you should encourage students to look at UICT as one of the options whereby they can be able to learn, get skills, get professional trainings in programs like software engineering, data analytics, electrical and electronics, and many others. So we just urge you to visit our website so that you can take advantage of this. We are on JAB. Students can access admissions, can apply through JAB, and also get government sponsorship. Otherwise, I want to thank you, and I want to wish you a good deliberation as we continue with this workshop. Thank you very much, team.
Thank you so much, Mr. William Francis. We are really very grateful to you, ICT, for the opportunity they have granted to our teachers. Thank you so much. Mr. Ronald, I want you to first confirm whether the commissioner is on, or we can dive into the presentation.
Mr. Kaziba, first of all, I want to request Francis if they can put the UICT website link in the chat for members to see. That would be good. But also too, I would like to inform the members here that we are privileged to have the Municipal Education Officer from Apache District with us. And they've been working with Professor Dorothy Okello from Makerere University Engineering Department. I would like to give them a chance to speak to us. Professor Dorothy, if you can open your microphone, and we would like also to request you to open your video because they have mobilized teachers, and I hope we can be able to see the teachers. So I will ask Professor Dorothy to first of all say a few words to us and probably tell us where they are and what they've been able to do, and then also invite the Ministry of Education Officer part to speak to us. Over to you, Professor Dorothy.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me fine.
Yes, we can hear you, Professor.
Okay. Thank you very much for this opportunity to be able to share with the meeting. As you rightly pointed out, as Makerere University in the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering, we have partnered with Apache to roll out a rural community broadband network, that's the RCBN. And using this network, we have connected 5 educational institutions, including a primary school, 2 secondary schools, and 2 technical institutes. These are what are forming the background of the educational institutions. We've also connected 5 other sites, including the district headquarters, including a market area, a farmers group, so that we have a diversity of partners within the network, making up the 10 members. Myself, presently, actually, I am within Kampala, but because of technology, I am able to liaise with the Ministry of the Municipal Education Officer, actually 2 of them, one for who's on the call already, Molly Okule, who you've invited to speak also. She's responsible for guidance and counseling. And then we also have one at the site. The host school for this activity for today is Maruzi Seed Secondary School. I have seen they have also been able to connect. So what we have done is for those teachers that are able to easily get to Maruzi Seed Secondary School, we've invited them to meet there in person. So there will be more than one at that place. But for the other teachers who are a little bit further out, and also I understand there's been quite some rain there, so hampering transportation here and there. Some others are going to join in from where they are or from their respective schools. But because of also the facility that has been shared, the work to home number, for MTN, and we hope through the ministry, maybe we can also get similar numbers from Airtel. So we're very happy for this opportunity because setting up an ICT network is one thing, and I think Mr. Dungu, you alluded to this. Setting up a network is one thing. Getting it to be utilized for development is another. And so while we in Makerere, together with our local partners on the ground, the Kubera Information Center and the Northern Uganda Resilience Innovation Network, NURI, have been responsible for setting up the network. It's the partnerships such as this with the Ministry of Education and the schools within Apache, where we've set up the first site, that are really bringing this to fruition in terms of making the network come alive through the opportunity for using the network for programs such as this. And so we're very happy for this partnership and look forward to implementing further and further of the programs that I have so far had in collaboration with UICT and other partners as we support ICT for education in this country. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share with you all. Good morning.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Dorothy. Could we have Madam Akello Molly? Please open your microphone and video if you can, so that you can speak to us.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Molly Grace Akello, Education Officer, Guidance and Counseling, Apache Municipal Council. I would like to thank you so much, the coordinator, for this Maths Teachers Workshop, for this opportunity to reach the participants. We are really very grateful for Dr. Dorothy that have really brought for us the RCBN network. And as education institutions, Apache District and Apache Municipality, we are really very grateful for the opportunity. And we have a responsibility to ensure that we support and ensure the functionality of the network that the facility have been installed. And I would like to say that we shall continue to mobilize the teachers and the students to make the best use of the internet. And for this workshop, I have mobilized 8 secondary schools, and I hope that many of them are already connecting and joining in the program. And that the head secondary school is both from the municipality and the district. And I pledge to continue to mobilize and ensure that this workshop that I've already started, our people participate 100%. And we are really very grateful for the opportunity as Apache District and Apache Municipality. I shall be online to continue to monitor and supervise how the participation is going to take place. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Akello Molly Grace from Apache District. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we would like to see. We would like to see the district education officers getting involved and working together with partners to make sure that our teachers are well mobilized and they can learn how to use ICTs going forward. We thank Makerere University through Dr. Dorothy, and we hope that we shall be in Karamoja very soon, so that we also bring Karamoja and the other far off places onto the grid, so that we close the learning gap in this country. Mr. Kaziba, for now, we will stop there, and when the commissioner comes in, because I've not yet seen him online, but when he comes in, I will let you know, so that we break the presentation and speaks to us. Over to you, Mr. Kaziba, so that we continue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Ronald and all the presenters. And now, next on our agenda, we are going to start off with our workshop. Our presenter today is the head teacher of St. Joseph's College, who was taught mathematics and is an experienced teacher. This is none other than Mr. Mr. O.T. Nyeko Walter. We want to welcome Mr. O.T. Nyeko Walter for his presentation. You are most welcome, Mr.
Wish a good morning to everybody. I hope I'm audible enough.
Mr. Oti, unmute.
Morning, everyone. Am I audible enough now, Mr. Kaziba?
Yes, now you can continue.
I have been teaching, but I said I've been teaching mathematics for the last 28 years. I taught all the classes from senior 1 to senior 6 in an examiner for paper 2. So greatly what we are going to talk about here is really my experience as a mathematics teacher all this year. My interest to ICT in mathematics was triggered in the year 2006 when I was transferred to St. Mary's College, Kisubi. We had a workshop at Uganda Manufacturers Association showroom. My triggering was a disappointment because those people were showing us, I think that was introduction of cyber school. The presentation was so doctored and tailored to the extent that I felt disappointed because it is the same as somebody who cooks for you food and forces you to eat a food that you don't like. It made me take a step to collaborate with the teachers of ICT at SMAC by that time. My disappointment was heightened when the teacher of ICT was just showing his might, how he is very good at computer, leaving me 10,000 kilometers behind. So in my annoyance, I said, now, I'm going to do this myself. I started in a very crude and very hopeless way. By and by, I feel now I should share with everybody who loves mathematics the integration of ICT in the teaching and learning of mathematics. I'm now going to share my screen so that I could start off with the presentation. Let's discuss my experience of how I integrated ICT in the teaching and learning of mathematics. I started teaching, as I said, in 1995, sorry. It wasn't very easy. And as I know, it is not very easy with very many people. I'm a left-handed person, just maybe like any other person. But writing on the chalkboard, teaching for 2 hours, writing and rubbing, is not very easy. I was attracted when I saw a certain teacher entering class with a suit, but coming out very dusty from toe to head. I said, wow, this is a real teacher. But what is the impact of that? You come out of the lesson very tired, and you feel you have made it. At the same time, some people's handwriting is really very admirable, that you find students even copying something which is not correct. So the interest here, in my experience, is to see how we can shift from the traditional way of teaching. Some students would be unhealthy, will find teaching really very difficult to manage. How do we shift from a dusty environment to a relatively clean and interesting environment where learners feel safe in terms of health, in terms of accuracy, in terms of attraction? You realize that a teacher may not have time to go to class with very many colors of pieces of chalk, but ICT makes it very handy for somebody who wishes to do so. I remember at the university, there was one thing which we were supposed to do. About method. You'll find people using chalk and talk. Is it possible for us to shift away from chalk and talk monotony? A different shift where learning becomes very interesting. This teacher has become very innovative. Has abandoned the chalkboard. You can see how clean the chalkboard is. Has abandoned the chalkboard and has decided to go ICT. Already from the look, you can see that students are much more attentive. How do we do it ourselves? The cyber school system introduced it to us. But how possible is it for us to move away from physical presence? You could be in the comfort of your home or the comfort of your office, and still you are able to deliver where students interact with the system. In this way, learning will become more interesting. You know, our students are really very innovative. They are much better than us in ICT. So as teachers, our major issue is to just interest them. Then you'll see the volume of information that these learners would generate. Sometimes you need a documentation of yourself by recording your teaching. Let us take a look at what this teacher was doing.
Now, it's simplified. We have two types of things that can fit. We have routines and we have constituents. Likewise, here are two different kinds of colors. We have the gray color and we have violet. Now, it turns out.
Of course, that was early. Are you aware that you're able to record your own teaching? It can be used for documentation. You can put what you have recorded in the library And even if you're not there, student can refer to that teaching of yours later, and they'll be able to pick bit by bit. Instead of reading, they will be listening and looking at what they're presenting. Secondly, in the process of teaching, you can self-evaluate yourself by looking and actually watching your presentation. It'll be possible for you to make corrections where nobody may be able to see. At least you'll be able to see yourself. Usually we are not very happy with the feedbacks. Somebody give you feedback, you go on defense. But now when you see yourself, after recording yourself, you really appreciate what you are doing. The use of ICT may not be only for mathematics. It can be in other subject disciplines as well. Take, for example, we can use ICT in geography, for example, where you can use it to draw actual map, which is more accurate. Possibly now the big question is, how do you draw this map? At the end of today, we should be able to draw the map ourselves, not only the map, but also other animations that could be very interesting. Dear colleagues, not only do we handle it in geography or history, but other disciplines too. In mathematical world, the ICT can be used in other areas like economics, numerical methods, and statistics. How many times have we failed to draw accurate graph on chalkboard, for example? How many times have we illustrated our teaching by giving a very rough drawing on the board, which makes students also convinced, and they do the same, like you? ICT in mathematics becomes very interesting, as we shall look at in the subsequent slides. So, in graphical world, you can actually transport a graph and demonstrate physically how the axis can be drawn, how you can calibrate your graph, and subsequently come out with a drawing of a relatively accurate graph by showing students how to plot, how to draw a line, and eventually getting the main issue concerning the graph. This was an issue of numerical methods. How to find the root of a nonlinear equation which has been divided, split into two. This may not only be for numerical methods, even in statistics, you draw graph. In economics, there's a lot of graphs which are drawn without actually the equation, but graphical work gives you bigger accuracy, as you could have experienced in the process of teaching numerical methods at A level. We have ever encountered vectors. There is one particular aspect of vectors that when you multiply a vector by a scalar quantity, the scalar quantity has the effect of elongating or making the vector bigger or smaller. Have you ever realized that it is possible for you to use ICT to effectively demonstrate that you are able to multiply a vector by a scalar, and the process of this, the effect of this n, which is a quantity greater than 1, has ability to elongate the vector or otherwise. This can only be possible if you're able to illustrate, and the best illustrating method is the use of ICT. Of course, when you engage yourself in the use of ICT, one thing is very clear. You cannot present rubbish. It means you must involve yourself with a lot of research and rehashing also how the presentation would be like. So therefore, we cannot avoid, whether we like it or not. I'm appealing seriously to teachers who could be watching now and they feel they're very inferior. You're not inferior. All of us who claim to know a lot about teaching mathematics using ICT were once like you. As I've already told you where I started from. I started from disappointment. And what I'm sharing with you is where I started from. And I wish you to continue from there. Our interest is of all the various disciplines in mathematics. I would like us to share briefly how we can enhance the teaching and learning of mechanics. You will agree with me that in the teaching of mechanics, there are so many imagination that will always come in the mind of the student. As you introduce yourself or as you introduce your class to mechanics, where do you normally begin from? Mechanics is one subject that many people fear. They fear so much. So it is up to you to see how you can, in a friendly way, cause mechanics to be friendly to learners. The word mechanics can send some people already out of order. I say that I've been an examiner of mathematics paper 2. My experience as an examiner is that you find very few students attempting mechanics, and yet they are engineers to be. You concentrate on numerical methods, probability theory, and statistics, leaving mechanics. Maybe the problem is not the student. Maybe the problem is how mechanics was introduced. So the big question is, how do you introduce mechanics? Is it straight away by defining? There is this book written by Paul. The heading is, the topic, the title is Pedagogy of the Oppressed, where the learners are the oppressed and the teachers are the oppressed. I'm very grateful to the new curriculum, which has changed Ferrari's thinking to reality. You begin by defining straight away, mechanics is this, without first knowing how somebody experiences it. I would say it will be good to allow the learners to share their views of what they think about mechanics. Some people would think that mechanics is all about a complicated part of the engine, which is it is engine and its component. Or they may think of mechanics as a burly person with a very big spanner, handling very complicated part of the engine. Your student, our student, therefore think that in the classroom very soon, those things will be presented. Others would think of plier, pincher, and overall. But is it true that it is? All of us, in a very brief way, we know that mechanics is all about forces and the effect of forces on the bodies, as simple as that. It therefore brings us to a clear understanding that in mathematics, as we introduce mechanics, we need to know how to illustration of our teaching point so as to encourage the learners to think even further than us. By the way, you should know, if you're not better than your teacher, then you're worse. We should handle our student so that in the end, they must be better than us. Proudly, I would say that I'm better than all my teachers who taught me. One of them is now inspector of school. I'm very grateful to him. Each time I meet him, I don't hesitate to tell him what I feel about him. On this platform, I'm very sure there are some people who were once my student, and I know they're better than me. One of them is a torch on here. I see him smiling at me. He's much better than me now, and I'm very proud of that. There are others who are professors. Others are doctors. So you should aim at making your student better than you by simply tickling them. Here I am now to try to bring to you how we can tickle our learners to do better. If mechanics is all about force and their effect, one very important realization is that a force can be transported. One very important characteristic of a force which we usually use. How do we illustrate to our learners that we are able to transport a force, still making the force remain as it is, if we have not changed the magnitude and if we have not changed the direction? It takes an effort as a teacher to first be able to animate, and later on in this part of my presentation, we shall see how we can animate. You see how this line draws itself. I'm not touching it, but it draws itself. It is very amazing. In the end, you'll ask yourself, how do you draw the line? This time, I would like us to go into the kitchen where you prepare your own food and you eat it the way you want, other than receiving food prepared by somebody who you may not wish or you may not love the food so much. If this is a force, how do we illustrate that a force can be transported? In the process of transportation, the magnitude and direction are not changed. That a force can be waved in any way we want, and the magnitude is not changed. This transportability of a force, we usually apply it consciously or unconsciously. If you make it conscious to students how force can be transported, then certain illustration in mechanics will really be seriously enhanced. Take, for example, I'm interested in this diagram. Don't mind about the question so much. The question asks to find the magnitude of force P and Q. The forces are in equilibrium. That is the force diagram. If these forces are in equilibrium, possibly in the process of introducing equilibrium of forces, you could have begun with coplanar concurrent forces. forces radiating from a single point, and they are on the same plane. How would you transform these forces that appears not to be concurrent? Excuse me. The forces are not concurrent, though they may be coplanar. You could have introduced to your learners the use of Lami's theorem. How do you transform this diagram so that Lami's theorem can be used and is appreciated by a student who later on can expand their realm of thinking to a much greater horizon? We would like to illustrate how we can use the characteristic of a force. That is, a force can be transported so that we completely dismantle this drawing and we are able to rearrange and come out with a diagram which is understandable and appreciated by a student. The transportability of a force makes it possible for us to dismantle this. If that is an axis of interest to us, then we shall first remain with the three forces only. These forces can be animated to transport, giving us a newly rearranged diagram, which we can now apply Lami's theorem. It should be interesting if we illustrate this on here to students. Two things are here. One, appreciation of the transportability of a force, which is a vector quantity. Two, appreciation of rearrangement, which they can expand at their own free time. Thirdly, the ability to split a force. An emphasis on dotted lines will be enhanced. So that is one part. Of course, this illustration which I am presenting is not so much different from the chalk. It's as if we have just transferred the chalk to the screen. It may not be so appealing yet to our learners. The new curriculum, the lower secondary curriculum, has a very big bearing at A level later in life. For example, when the current senior 3s go through the system and are in senior 5, we shall find ourselves actually obsolete. You will be meaningless if you don't bring actual life situation in the classroom. Traditional question. And there is a smooth metallic sphere of radius 20 centimeters and mass 5 kilograms, which is suspended from an inelastic string, which is light, at a point P on a smooth vertical wall. The distance of P from Q is given as 60. The interest is what is the force at the point of contact. What about the tension in the string? Teaching Department of Mathematics. This question, I've examined it. I have given it to learners for over 10 years. Each time I give this question to learners, I get the same result. Very poor response. Out of 80 students, maybe only 10 would have been able to draw the first diagram properly. However, there had been a term to this year when I decided to get an illustration by taking a pictorial representation of this question, which is 3-4 lines. the pictorial representation was able to bring for me with my learners clearly the concept of drawing force diagram. As we shall illustrate, in this diagram, there are only 3 forces, which of course, it may be useful to explain to the learners. I would like to emphasize one thing here is that I'm not here to explain or to calculate or to teach, but I'm here to appeal to you by illustration how we can use ICT in simplifying otherwise something which looks so difficult. Just like this question, in your mind, it may be so difficult to look at. I am going to have 2 comparisons here. Comparison number 1 is our traditional way that in this question, usually we may involve ourselves with drawing an imaginary force diagram. That if that is the wall, and then this is the sphere, which in essence, this sphere looks as if it is a circle. Is it possible to show your class an experience of a real sphere? The answer is yes. But otherwise, you shall begin with the artistic impression of what the problem is, which is actually a sphere in contact with a smooth vertical wall attached with the help of a string. Where the diagram has reached right now, very many learners would fail. You'll find them drawing the string parallel to the wall, or sometimes the string is below the sphere, or some would simply draw the wall to be horizontal. That learning gap is enhanceable by the use of ICT. The illustration is completed when the dimensions are put. The next thing is the concept of drawing force. The forces which are in action on the sphere, number 1 is the weight. The weight of the body, the sphere is a geometrically even shape, so its weight acts through its geometrical center. At the point of contact, there is normal reaction. Even in the string, there is a tensile force which is presented, but again, we should take note that all these forces, since they're in equilibrium, another concept is illustrated here. All forces in equilibrium must pass through a single point by way of their line of action. So it now enables us to transpose the tensile force to pass through the center of the circle. This illustration may not be so easy using chalk and talk. It may not be so clean, lean, and very appealing. All right. Still, the concept of force diagram, force being transported, we can illustrate it here to simplify this diagram enormously. Take a look. That is our diagram. We're interested in only 3 forces: the tensile force, normal reaction, and the weight, possibly with some dimension. The other parts are meaningless. We need to find the angle beta because it is useful. With the help of Pythagoras theorem, the sine and the cosine of those angles would have been found. The other parts of the diagram are noise. So with the help of ICT, you are able to remove the noise and remain with only the part which is useful. How interesting it is that ICT can bring out clearly the use of Lami's theorem in this aspect. You can use Lami's theorem. That could still be to be very traditional. because it is not appealing to the outside world. Are we able to see the sphere with the string, and then you bring in the forces as you teach? The interest in this presentation is to enable us move away from words. The questions are in words. We go through with it to pictorial representations, pictures. The pictures should now inform the concept. This takes us to the second part of my presentation. Words to pictures to concept. This question which we have just looked at could have been ably brought to reality. If you as a teacher, you could have walked around a bit on the compound, maybe towards a physics lab or anywhere using available material, low cost or costless material in the environment to illustrate this example. Suppose we had actually had a real picture of a sphere against a wall, as we have it there. This is our sphere. This white surface represents the wall. This is the string. The sphere is in contact with the wall. At least our learners will be able to see, whoa, that is how the question is set. From this, our concepts that we intend to introduce to the learner can come out. For example, the weight, which acts through the center of the sphere. Normal reaction at point of contact and the tensile force in the string is easily illustrated. When this illustration is already done, we can now turn to the concept of transportability of a force, the concept of resolution of a force, the concept of equilibrium, the use of Lami's theorem. The diagram will no longer be necessary. The concept would have been enhanced. Wow. That is where we would therefore go. In this way, the learner's ability to start from known to unknown could have been fulfilled greatly. Let us look at yet another problem in mechanics that could be simplified enormously by pictorial representation of the problem. There is this problem of a bag of mass 30 kilograms, which has been suspended from a point on the string. This question, I've also examined it for quite a while, and the interesting thing is the mass is put upside down by most students, and the string appears to be the leg of some kind of two sticks on the ground, and then the mass is up, drawing upside down. It could have been so interesting if in the process, using even object in your sitting room, maybe even a portion on a plate, sitting room to represent a bag, a cup, empty or full of water, anything to bring to reality that the topic of mechanics, you don't need to be abstract. It occurs in our environment every day, thereby making learners to realize that there are very many things in our environment. Currently, in the lower secondary curriculum, which may not be lower anymore, teachers and learners are grappling with research, with project work. I have received a project proposal of 32 million shillings for Senior 3. 32 million shillings for project. Yet, there are so many problems in our environment that we need to appreciate to see how we can harness. How many of us would think it's a bug and the presenter is talking about visiting a physics lab? Not necessarily. You can use anything in your environment. Currently, there are a lot of mangoes. Why don't you trace the learners by using the mangoes instead of a bug? The illustration would be something like this. A small visit to the lab. I was able to get a white thread, a standard mass, and using 2 retort stand. The background is a blackboard. The illustration would come very clearly. If that is the real picture of the bug represented by the standard mass hanged using these strings A with N, A and B, when the mass is C, are we able now to bring the concept of drawing force diagram? A force is a vector quantity represented by a straight line containing an arrow, where the length of the straight line is the magnitude and the arrow is the direction. The angle of inclination of these strings to the horizontal were given. That is the artistic impression. The concept of weight comes, the weight of a body acts vertically downwards toward the center of the earth. And it is a product of mass and acceleration due to gravity, G. Tensile force in the string, CB. And tensile force in the string, AC. The concept of force diagram would have been smartly illustrated to a great extent. I'm very sure the learners will be able to appreciate that, yes, from reality, which are in word form, to pictures, now the concept would have been enhanced. My last illustration. Thereafter, we shall do a small demonstration, after which you should be able to do it on your own. There is this problem of an object on an inclined plane, demonstrating the issue of limiting equilibrium and frictional force. What are the problem here? In our mind, we must be able to see this box in picture form and then present it to students, but they should also be able to see. As you see, they are also seeing in their mind there. Emphasis is on the media of communication. We are using English. So the understanding of English is equally very important to the learners. Here again, you could use any illustrative object. Maybe a wood which has been a piece of timber which has been put with one end against the wall, another end on the ground. Then you put maybe a stone or whatever it is. In this illustration, a small visit to the physics lab enabled me to get a meter rule and a block, a wooden block. you realize that possibly those who could have done chemistry, you could realize that this is a chemistry lab. You can see the last word, part of the word oxide there, salt, soap. So it was in a chemistry lab. As a mathematics teacher, if you go to the lab, they will also say, mathematics in the lab, interesting. When you are introducing the topic of projectile, walk out, get a stone in the football field, for example, throw it up if you have the time. If not, take a video of a stone being thrown. That is bringing reality to the classroom. In this way also, we have this inclination of 30 degrees, and this block has mass. The normal reaction is perpendicular to the surfaces in contact. Then introduction of frictional force, which opposes the potential direction of motion. This body is supposed to slide down the plane. So frictional force acts up the plane. Again, we would have come back to our concept of drawing force diagram. I'm very sure now you must have been bored because we have repeated this kind of concept 3 times. If it has been appealing to you, then I'm very happy. I would have struck a point in the depth of learning. A big question could be arising. How do we draw this diagram? How do we make the diagram move? How do we transport pictures from wherever they are onto our screen? In the advert, in the invite, you were told to come with a photograph of any object which is on a horizontal plane. We are going to use that at the most appropriate time. At the moment, we would like to see, I would like to demonstrate how we can draw lines, circles, curves, and eventually make our object move. I've removed the PowerPoint. I'm now on the drawing canvas. I wish that you could, as well as now, as I do this illustration, turn to your laptop or computer. If you're using a phone, it may not be possible to have these essential features. I would also love to say that it will be very appropriate if you have Windows 10. Windows 7 may not help you so much. Windows 10 has very good animators. In this, therefore, we go to our drawing canvas. When you click on home, there are shapes. You click on shapes, there are very many shapes that will come up. We shall begin simply by drawing a line. Here is my line. I've drawn a line, but this line looks very dull. I may want to make it bigger and make it more appealing. So I go to shape outline. Choose any color you want. I choose prominent blue, but still the line is very thin. Go back to shape outline, down to where there is weight. There are different weights of the line. showing the thickness of various nature. Let us choose the thickest line, 0.6. Yes, I would have drawn the line. I can draw any line I want. Suppose I want to draw axis, and already by mistake, I've drawn that line. I can touch the end of this line with your knowledge, make it horizontal. If I want to use this illustration, which I've already done, to draw the vertical axis, then you press on click or on control, then you tap on D. D will simply duplicate for you. Control D will duplicate. Then I raise one end of this up. Axis as contained. I don't have. Still, go back to shape outline. There are arrows, various types of arrows. This type of arrow is so suitable for arrow of the axis. The axis now has arrow. The vertical axis, even the horizontal axis, you will be able to do the same. The axis would have contained now the arrows. Other thing would follow. This illustration is for drawing a line. In essence, you want to show your learners how the line draws itself automatically. The way you saw the lines of the forces drawing themselves. There is another application, which is animation. The most popular animation of drawing is wipe. When you click on wipe, effectively it will always show by default wiping from down to up. But a line cannot be drawn, horizontal line cannot be drawn from down to up. At the same time, it moves so fast. There are some two aspects that we shall handle here. Number one is to cause this line to draw itself from left. But again, as it draws itself, it is drawing itself too fast. We need it to take a longer time, most appropriately 1.75 seconds. Click on the effect. There it is. The drawing is slower. If you want it to be even slower, then you can increase on the duration. It is slower, or it may be too slow. Still, you may wish this line to move from where it is to anywhere you want. If you want the line to move, you continue on add animation, especially on motion path. There are different motion paths that you can involve yourself with. By scrolling down, you'll get others. Suppose you're interested in motion to the right. Move. So far, to show what you have already done and appreciate it, you can look at the preview on the top left-hand corner below the word file is a preview that shows you what you have so far done. We animated a horizontal line and we cause it to move. That is simply as far as line is concerned. I'm going to delete this. I don't want to use many screens. Suppose we would like to draw a circle. We'll still go back home and come to our shapes. This one here, which looks elliptical or oval, can give us the circle we want. advancement. We have a circle. But this circle has a lot of inconveniences. We don't want to see that coloration of its center. We don't want to see the coloration. You come to shape fail and no fail. You click on no fail, we have cyclic object already. But it is not yet appealing. We need to make this possibly black and make it larger. You'll go through the same process as we have before. Right, animation. After you are drawing, you can go animation. I said the most popular animation is wipe, but for drawing cyclic object, we can go to wheel. Wheel will imitate the motion of a wheel. You can increase the duration or otherwise. Under effect here, there are so many effects, but the most important is one spoke. If you use 2 spokes, then it is going to split it into 2 parts. If we use 8 spokes, then it may not be so much illustrative. You will wish to see that the wheel is drawn once. If you want to slow it, you still go to duration and slow your wheel. We would have drawn a circle. Suppose we want to draw a curve, just like in normal distribution. A curve in normal distribution. This one is a little bit demanding. Requires some element of patience with the practice. Let us say that this is a horizontal line. We need to choose the various type of curves. There is this one will draw for us circle. This is very good. That free form is good for drawing maps. Okay, let us take a look at it. We can draw our maps, anything that we want. Can even draw anything that you want there. But that's not our interest. We are not interested in that. We want to use it to draw a curve. This is the most important tool for drawing a curve. It requires you to control. You touch on control as you draw. When you release your hand from control a bit, it is able to give you the shape you want. You click on it, it will give you where you want it to be. So if you wanted to draw a curve of normal distribution, then we would begin from where we want it to be, draw, leave it, or you click on it, it will give you, oh, okay, we can still improve on this. I've overtouched it. It is a part of practice also for you. If that it is, and you click on just your button to enable you leave a space for you, the drawing comes. At first, it could be a very bad drawing. However, you can edit your drawing to your convenience by left-clicking on your mouse and you go to edit point. You can shift to your satisfaction these points as you wish by turning the lines to give you the smoothness of the curve that you want. By extending, as you can see, if I extend the line, it extends for me the curve as well. If I rotate it, it gives me the shapes that I'm interested in. So by and by, you can shape your curve the way you want. That is when it comes to drawing curve. But you may also want to shade. If you want to shade, you'll go to Save, Shape, Fill. You choose the color that you would want to fill your shape with. Suppose that is what it is. You would have shaded. But even under this shape fill, there are gradients and textures. Suppose you want to use different texture. Then in your fill window, you go to texture. You can use any texture that you want. Suppose you had chosen this texture. It would have also presented itself. So this is a simple illustration of drawing. I would like you to do for me a simple task. I'm going to type the task here, and I would like you to do it. That's nice. I can do that in 1 minute. That should be already done it. We are going to progress with our line. Mine is already here. I'll make it shorter. And then I'm bringing my arrow. Number 2, when you are ready for that line, use 0.6. Make the line bigger by using 0.6. Going to shape outline, then going to weight. 0.6 is the last. Next is animate. Your line. Move diagonally to the right. You have already animated it. Go to add animation. You'll find various drawing canvases there. Your line to animate your line to the right. Let it be to the right. It means, okay, you first do it. Animate your line to the right. You will only go to the effect option. Then to the right is from left. Increase the duration of that line to 2 seconds. Increase the duration of that line to 2 seconds. That my part is not congested. At the moment, this is only 0.5 seconds. Increasing the duration, you come to duration. Click on the button, you see the figure changing until when it is 2. If that is done, we are going to the next, enhancing still that line. Another animation to make this line move horizontally to the right. Animation, enhance the line to move to the right. Done. Under add animation, before even add animation, you should ensure that you have highlighted the line. They must be active. But if it's just like that, you can even see the effects and add animation would not give you, it will only work on the highlighted areas. So you should have clicked and made your line visible. Then under add animation, we move to motion paths. All these will give you motion path, but the one which makes it move to the left is under more. There are various, it is up to you to check. Motion to the right is here. Once you click on it, it will demonstrate to you what it will do. If you're satisfied, you will click on OK. We have so far done that, but where did we begin from? You may want to inspect your work before continuing. You will go to preview. Can you click on preview and see what will happen to your picture or to your screen? If I click on view, mine is beginning from ICT in mathematics, which is number 1. There's number 2 and number 3. The line drawn and it moves. At what instant would you want the line to move? Especially when you're dealing with vectors or if you are dealing with the transportation of a force. Like us pay close attention and do it. Like a vertical line. Draw a vertical line, 0.6. And move the shading inside. Remove the shading which is inside. Should have been that. Careful instruction being followed. 0.6, meaning you would have not changed the color. Careful instructions still on the drawing canvas. On the oval shape, you draw your circle. Moving the shading, you go to shape fade and no fade. Stay with the circle active. Make the weight to be 6. Monotony on 6. Maybe let us make it 2.25. Change it from 6 to 2.25. The weight of this line. 2.25. The weight 2.25 is 2 1/4. Change the color of that circle to red. You will go to shape outline. There are already standard colors there, but there are many shades of red. If you're not interested in that shade of red, you can go to more outline colors. Clicking on it can give you those shades. When you click on standard, it'll give you aggregated colors. You can choose any red that you wish. Suppose this was a red chosen. That is not red. This is red. On clicking OK, it will give you the red that you want. So the shapes of red, the shades of red that you want can be chosen. Our next instruction is click on the line. Animate your line so that it draws itself vertically upwards. Animation pen, animation, then you go to wipe and make it draw itself upwards. Reduce the duration to 3 seconds. Do a review of your animation by clicking on review. We trace the line only. Animate your circle to draw itself. Duration 2.5 seconds. Animate the circle to draw itself. Duration 2.5 seconds. The best is to wheel. Increasing the duration to 2.5. Dear colleagues, we have just put pieces in different bags. It is up to you to bring the pieces together. For example, if I cut this circle and put it against the vertical line, it may now imitate for me the sphere against a vertical wall. If I try to bring now the preview, it will show for me the vertical wall being drawn and the sphere also drawing itself. Two pieces put together. Suppose you had made a mistake and you want the circle to be drawn first instead of the line. What would you do? There's this last button here under reorder animation. You can move a given animation earlier or later. The circle is sensitive. I can move it earlier. If I click on earlier, you see the number for the circle has changed to 2. So the circle will draw itself before the line. You can take a look by clicking on preview. Find the circle drawing itself first, followed by the line. What I have done is simply to tickle you. Do the needful. You are going to the last part where you are going to use this knowledge to draw with the picture which you were told to come up with. You should have now transported your picture on PowerPoint. Look at that question, whether it can translate to your picture. A particle of mass. Okay. Yours is not on an inclined plane. I will quickly change this question. A particle of mass 10 kilograms is placed on a horizontal surface. On a horizontal surface. Forces. In the particle. You already have the particle. Transport now on your screen and do the needful. Mine was a mango on a bench. You should be having a mango or whatever you have drawn. Draw for me, there are only 2 forces there. The normal reaction and the weight. Can you draw them and animate? Draw your forces. You should be having whatever picture you have transported on your screen, on a PowerPoint screen. You could have transferred it using your phone or whatever gadget you have. Transport it on your PowerPoint screen. drawing the forces, animating them. There's an arrow there. I'll begin by drawing the weight. Possibly make it red, make it bigger. With time, you will be able to learn it. Transport this one here. I am duplicating, turning this arrow up, bring it here. Now, we have drawn, but we have not labeled the forces. We need to label the forces and eventually remove the mango, which could be very enticing. Still our drawing canvas, where you see the box with letter A, that is a letter box. You click on it, draw it anywhere you want. A cursor will be blinking inside. Put any force that you want. Suppose it is force R. You can use Microsoft Office to enhance this word. I want to change it from Calibri to Times New Roman. I also want to change it from font 18 to the best font, which is font 32. It's the most visible font. This is then transported. You can thereafter duplicate your normal reaction by clicking on, pressing Ctrl D. But what we are putting down here is no longer R. It must be the weight. This object is 10 or is of mass 10. 10 G becomes the weight. We are told there is no tendency to move, so frictional force does not act. There are only two forces. We are now going to animate. I'm assuming that we are on the same tempo. The first animation is to bring into our awareness the picture. If you click on the picture, the highlight is shown. Click on animation. The drop-down button gives you various types of animation that you want. We're interested in wipe. By default, wipe is wiping from down to up. Our interest is to wipe from left to right or from right to left. Suppose we choose from left to right. We click on effect of options, then from left. It is moving too fast. So we go to duration. Increase the duration to maybe 2.5. You can pretest by clicking on effect. Good. It is now drawing slowly. With that, we need to indicate the weight of the body acting downwards. We go to our animation, still on wipe. Disappointingly, it is drawing from down to up. Instead, it should have drawn in the reverse. So we shall reverse the direction of the effect by clicking down. Again, it is too fast. Go to duration, make it 1.75. That arrow is a weight, labeling it as weight. I told you that the animation of wipe is very popular here. So by clicking on wipe, increasing the duration to 1.75 or any duration you wish and making it horizontal, it now makes you see as if the 10G is writing itself. Can you do the same thing for the upward arrow and arrow? Animate the upward arrow, which is a normal reaction, and animate arrow. Click on arrow. You go to the various animation and you click on wipe. Increase the duration. That would have been done. Clicking on arrow. Animation wipe. Increase the duration. Make it horizontal. That would have been done. Now, I would like us to proceed a bit by doing something small. That is, we would have animated very few times and yet we would have still got the same effect. Suppose this upward force and arrow were not there. We have already done the animation of 10G and the arrow pointing downward. I can just duplicate this arrow in that order. You can see the number has gone to 6, but it is pointing downward. Changing it to upward, but the arrow is still pointing downward. So click on the change, it is pointing in the right direction. I'll now just bring it there. Since I want arrow here, I can duplicate this. It is duplicated and the number has gone to 7. It's now just a matter of changing what is inside to arrow. To get satisfied that what you have done is correct, you can go to preview. Can you click on your preview and see what is taking place? The picture of mango, which if this lesson is done towards lunchtime, somebody may feel like salivating because mango is handy. Or if it is immediate after lunch, that mango will be looked at as a dessert. Let us draw a horizontal line to represent the bench and eventually remove the bench. Go back to home, or even without going back to home, we shall duplicate one of the lines. Any of them, click on Ctrl D. It duplicates for you the line. Then touch on one end and make it horizontal. You can see that this arrow is pointing down. We don't want it to point down. So you can click and change the arrow to be horizontal. And at the same time, we would like to remove the arrow. Yeah, the presentation has blocked it from me, but you can see it very clearly there. You click on it, it brings for us the previous one which we were dealing with. So this line is horizontal, but I will want to change the shape. My forces are already red. Why don't I change this shape? Maybe to green, deep green. Then carefully bring it down to be where these forces would be. My bench wasn't so horizontal. We are now ready. The next part, adding animation to remove the picture. Click on the picture canvas. You are on animation. You see that the part for add animation is now very live. You click on it. We would like to exit this picture. So let us move ourselves to motion exit, more exit effects. There you are. There are very many. There's blind, checkerboard, diamond, dissolve out, pick out, random bars, strips, wheels, anything that you want. Caution. You don't need to use animators that will make students admire the animation instead of the subject matter. So the most harmful one is dissolve out. Because the object just disappear peacefully. All right. If you have done that, can you click on preview to see how far you have gone? Dear colleagues, that is what I had to demonstrate to you this morning. I wish you ask questions. If I'm able to answer, I will answer. Thank you very much.
Mr. Kaziba, are you there?
Back to you.
Mr. Kaziba, are you still there?
I'm on. We want to thank Mr. Oti. Thank you so much for taking us through this session. Our next activity on the agenda was the activity that we wanted
Mr.
everyone
Kaziba,
to try.
Mr.
Mr.
Kaziba,
Ronat?
I hope the members have saved their product.
That is my thinking. Yes, let me first post the link again, such that members can share their product again. Dear members, there is a link that we have in the chat where we want you to share your product, what you have tried out. I think what we do, when you click on that link in the WhatsApp group, let me first share my screen. What we are going to do, there is a link in the chat. Just click on that link, and then we are going to request you to come and share your photo or share your the product you have come up with. We are there. I think we can add a section here. where you can share your PowerPoint, share the PowerPoint that you have created.
Let's put it under the first objective.
The first one, okay. Here, so what you do, you place this plus sign, and then you click on these 3 dots you are seeing here, and then you upload. So you go to upload. After clicking the upload, you go on and share your presentation, or you share a photo, or you share a screenshot of what you have come up with. So let's do that such that we know whether we can find out whether learning has taken place. But we understand that some of you have questions. I think Mr. Ronald, we can first take on the questions as members are finishing up with their product. So in case you have any question concerning what Mr. Oti has presented, raise up your hand, but we are going to pick some questions from here. Raise up your question. Raise up your hand.
Mr. Kaziba, just to enable the members see what to do, because they can post even after here, and as and when they do the exercise and finish it, is to go to this platform. It's called the Padlet platform, and we have titled it Promoting STEM Research in Secondary Schools. And thank you, Mr. Oti, because you've led us into new research by going to the lab and getting the photograph and putting it in a PowerPoint and coming up with a product. We are creating new knowledge. We are creating new content to use in our classrooms. And when you share it here, then someone else would first of all come and use yours, but also we encourage them to use their own. So when you get here, click on the plus sign. As Mr. Kaziba said, it will open, type there your subject, my product, and maybe your school. Whatever school it is, you type there because you've been working as a group or the individual. You can put there your name and tell us that I'm from this school. Now for me, I'm from Ministry of Education and Sports. I will write it neatly here. And the 3 dots, as Mr. Kaziba said, you want to upload. In other cases, you'll be putting a link or video, whatever you are doing. So when I'm uploading, it opens and I go to where I've saved my product, and I saved it as exercise. I click on it, then I open, then it will load here. See those purples, it is loading. It's not too heavy. And if I want to add something, I would say, please review my work. And after that, I click on publish. So these platforms, we can post there our mock exam, we can post there our exercise, we can post there our question we develop. We can post there anything that will love others to see. And when you come now to this platform, you should be able to see my work. I now had posted there something else. Let me delete it so that I have one post. And you can comment. You can comment on my work and say, thank you for the exercise you put, or thank you for the mock exam you put for us. We are going to use it. It's been helpful, and so on and so forth. So Mr. Kaziba, I hope we will also share, we'll share the instructions here. Maybe we didn't put them. We will share the instructions of how to use this platform so that the members, whoever gets here at any time, they can be able to do exactly what they're supposed to do. I'll stop sharing now so that we continue, Mr. Kaziba.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ronald. I'm seeing some hands are raised. So let me ask Mr. Wafula Ivan to unmute. Mr. Wafula Ivan, you can go on with your question.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Otim, Mr. Kaziva, and Mr. Dungu Ronald. Really, I have learned something. Though we are in the island, my network is not good. As I introduced myself in Amaingo, it is an island, but at least I have learned something. However, Mr. Otim said that specifically it is window 10. What about we who are having window 11? Can't it work? And then another issue was, I came in a bit late. Are we using PowerPoint and Microsoft Word? What is it exactly we are using? I was a bit confused, so I beg to be corrected there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to quickly respond to that. I said at least Windows 10. Windows 7 will not give you the animation which we have been using. But 10 and above does it very well. Number two, we are really using PowerPoint. For presentation, you must use PowerPoint. If we use words, then you won't be able to get the essential features which are so good with PowerPoint. Mr. Kaziba, there's another hand from Odore Patrick.
Yes. Dr. Patrick.
Yes. Good morning, everyone, once again.
Morning.
I have some two questions. I think especially Mr. Ladip Nyeko can answer that. Now, the first question is very short. I have seen we have been using PowerPoint presentation. Can we have, okay, like, isn't there any other software that we can use to create those lessons, such that there's any other interactive mathematics software that we can use, such that we can create that in the shortest period of time, like doing our lesson preparation? That is my first question. And then the last question is
Mr. Patrick, unmute. Sorry.
Can you unmute, Ms. Odore? Ms. Odore, unmute. Ms. Odore, you're muted. Can you ask the second question? You are muted. Ms. Odore, can you unmute?
Mr. Patrick, continue. Yes.
Yes. Yes. I don't know if my first question was hard.
The second question, you asked the second question and answer at once.
Yes, my second question is that incorporating ICT is actually a very powerful tool. Interactive, it is actually very interesting when we are doing the teaching. Even the student will find it very useful to understand it. The learning will be interesting. Now, schools, in most cases, their major target is syllabus completion in the shortest period of time. Now, how best can we use ICT? Because we have been seeing teachers that when they introduce teaching of ICT, they find out that it's a bit retarding in terms of syllabus coverage. And someone might prefer to go in the normal chalkboard and finish the thing quickly, such that he finishes. So I think that could be maybe one of the challenges to incorporating this ICT. So how best can we use it in such that we can also speed up the coverage of our syllabus?
Thank you very much. I would like to respond to that. The first question was, are there other softwares that can be used? The answer is yes, but it's up to you to choose the most appropriate software that you want to use. So I'll give you as a research to all of us that look for the most appropriate software for you and see how you can use it. The end result is if it will give you effective teaching and learning process, that is the target. The second one is how best can you use this to cover the syllabus. This PowerPoint presentation, if anything, will make you accelerate your teaching much, much, much faster. Mr. Dora, I'm a head teacher, but I still teach. I teach from 3 a.m. to 6, and my students don't sleep. I have already finished mechanics in senior 6. I am in numerical method, senior 5, numerical method and mechanics. So I'm going at a normal rate. If anything, I go faster. The biggest problem with ICT is the first year is when you may have problem because you are developing. But you have to be on the computer all the time until when you are done. The second year and the subsequent years will be easier for you because you're only updating your notes and making the animation more polished. But otherwise, it is of advantage in the sense that it gives the learner the real life situation. At the same time, you move at a modest pace. Thank you very much. Somebody from Merusi SS? Mute and talk.
SS.
Hello, are you able to speak up? Hello?
Yes, continue. Yes, you are clear.
Yes, my question is not a question actually. That because here the network was Mr. Otis to try to, that's why I go through how to a map. Then two.
Voice.
Secondly, hello.
Yes.
Let's get close to your microphone. Get close to your microphone.
Okay. Secondly, we are requesting if you can be able to share the presentation on the platform. This presentation on the platform so that hello.
Mr. Dungu.
Your microphone is
yes,
like we can't hear you clearly.
Yes, are you getting me now?
Yes, now you are clear.
Yes, I was meaning that if you could go through the process, how we drew the map there, and then secondly, if you can be able to share for us the presentation on the platform, so that you can also be guided along that line.
Mr. Kaziba, I have thrown in the chat the holistic mathematics group. We can all join that group for quick collaboration. We will put the presentations on Padlet, but also share it in the WhatsApp group. I know the members are good at WhatsApp, but the Padlet is also WhatsApp. It's related, it's common, it's nearer to WhatsApp. So we shall use the two. We shall use the two. If you can join the WhatsApp group using that link, Mr. Oti, we also invite you to join so that you can share there. And we will discuss more in the way forward on how we can engage ourselves more.
There was a question from John Byra. So John Byra, can you ask a question?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, mine is not necessarily a question, question, but it's an appreciation for this innovation that is being portrayed, because for sure this is the way to go. More so with the effect of COVID and what we saw in COVID, online presentation and online teaching is very, very important. And I see this one as a backbone for that. So I would really like to appreciate the people behind this, our presenter, Mr. Oti, and the Minister of Education for arranging and starting this. We are looking forward really to learn a lot from it. And thank you very much. Yeah, it was an appreciation. Be blessed.
Thank you very much. Gulu Ami SS, can you unmute and talk? Gulu Ami.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Oti and the entire team online. Now we have been wasting time using the old method of the books. We realize that using ICT is really good, but the biggest challenge that we have is note making. My request is that if we can organize a workshop for math teachers in the note making, that would be good. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Gulu Ami. As a matter of fact, we have piloted this at St. Joseph College, Laibi. We started with only one projector. As I speak now, we have bought 6 projectors and the projectors are not resting. So the basic is to inject a bit in projectors and there we are. I would encourage teachers who are in Gulu, we can mobilize ourselves quickly and we have a one-to-one workshop at the college. We are grateful to Renu for connecting us using EduRoam. As I am talking now, I'm using EduRoam. We are very grateful. Maybe the request could still go back to Mr. Dungu, our coordinator. If this is not enough, then we can still organize another one on topical part. I see Mr. Tochon has posted that. Is it possible to organize a workshop on integrating ICT in the teaching? I think that's what we are doing. But if there are some specific burning issues that we want to be put across, we can organize it quickly. It is within our docket to do what we can do. But those who are in Gulu City, Gulu District, you are really blessed because we can have a one-on-one. You can come up to the school if you don't want the convenience of others. With your laptop, we handle it. That is it. As I retire, I'll retire as a head teacher, but I will not retire as a mathematician. I'll be teaching mathematics even in my sitting room. That is my calling and it will be that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Ote. I think you have answered. Okay, someone was asking what is the software for drawing maps?
It is just the drawing canvas. A useful hint is if, for example, you have a map of Uganda that you want to draw, first scan that map, put it on your PowerPoint, then go to the drawing canvas, the one with a lot of zigzags. Then you can trace that one carefully. When you trace the outline of your map, you can delete the picture, your map remains. That is just a trick. Otherwise, if you draw the map physically, you may come out with a very ugly map. Pick the map which is already existing, trace its outline using the drawing canvas, delete the map, you are left with your very nice drawing. It is not only for drawing map, but anything that you want. For example, in biology, if you want to draw a flower, you can first capture the flower, Then you draw its outline using the drawing canvas. That's how I came up with that map of Uganda. I first pick an atlas, scan the map, transport it on my PowerPoint, drew the map, and then I just deleted the scan. That was it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Let me teachers start the person who asked the question you have had. What you need is just to get a photo of what you want to do, and then you trace it using the Canva. I think the questions are done unless we have any other person who may wish to ask, but I think the questions are being exhausted. This is just the start of a long journey that we are going to be walking together. We shall be having other several workshops of this nature. ICT is something very big. So today we have been just handling part, but with the time, we are going to be having very many workshops to ensure that at least every teacher can be able to use PowerPoint. We wanted that now we start using PowerPoints in class and do integrate the ICT. People have been asking, are there other softwares we can use? Yes, we have very many softwares, but like I've said, today we wanted mainly to stick to Microsoft PowerPoint, but there are very many other softwares that we are going to be teaching you on how to use them. Softwares such as GeoGebra, MathLab, Mampo, LaTeX, we have Excel, all those softwares. We shall teach you one by one on how to use them to do the rest. Then also someone who wanted to know about how to type the equations in math. Probably we shall demonstrate one on how to type, because that one at least is very crucial. But let us first pick Tekno. We shall ask you to rename yourself after talking. Yes, Tekno.
Pro, unmute and talk. Tekno.
Tekno, unmute.
Maybe he doesn't know that he has raised up his hand.
Okay. Okay. I think we can. Okay. Yes, Mr. Odok Patrick, the last.
Unmute. Unmute. Yes.
Yes. Thank you. I have seen. Hello.
Continue, Mr. Doc.
Yes, yes. I am requesting. I am seeing on that invitation that was sent by the Ministry of Education. There is a senior 6 student seminar to be held on 8th July. So my request is that how possible can our students be in position to participate in the seminar, and probably maybe if there's possibility of sharing the seminar questions like that, they also have it or prepare in advance before that day. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Odok. Mr. Odok, we are going to be sharing the seminar questions. Starting next week, we shall be having the seminars. So we are going to share this. We have already shared for all level, and we shall invite all your schools to participate in the all level. The questions are already out, and now schools have started booking their questions that they are going to do. We shall have the math seminar for A level, and the questions will come out this week for schools to start booking their questions. So we are going to share on those groups, and you receive the questions. But as well, we shall be sharing them on the Padlet. Now, next on our agenda, we have the way forward. So we are going to use, since we are already behind time, we are going to use about 10 minutes or 10 minutes for us to suggest what is the way forward? What can we do to integrate the ICT? Which gaps have you already noticed? And what are we going to do in order for us to have ICT integrated into our teaching? What are you going to be doing in your lesson? Now that you have attended this workshop, what are you going to be adding onto your lessons? So we are going to raise up our hands and then we get some feedback from you and the way forward on what to do. So let me start with Mr. Otto.
Mr. Kaziva,
Yes,
can I
yes.
pick a few things I noted as a way forward?
Okay, Mr. Ronald.
And also, I note that we have Mr. Kennedy Matumbwe online, who is the subject specialist at NCDC, and I will request that Mr. Matumbwe prepares to speak to us and close this session when the time comes. Shall ask him to close this session when the time comes. But I've noted one, I hope you can hear me. My connection
Yes,
has been up and about today. One, can we practice recording a short video, maybe 2 minutes teaching on your chalkboard, and you share that in the WhatsApp group? And how do we record? You just get a friend to point your camera to you, your phone, and you start speaking clearly and explain the mathematics on the chalkboard. Explain the way you teach usually, but you pick a small topic and prepare something to tell us in 2 minutes, and you share such that we know that in this week or in these 2 weeks, we have practiced recording videos. Now, in you trying to prepare for that, that will be research. What do you want to share with us? That is part of the research. And the other research is how to use a camera to record a video. Because going forward with the student seminars, you are going to record the students presenting and share videos. And then on the day, we will see if we can come live to you. And if we can't come live to you so that you present live, then we can use the videos you shared. And if I may just say something, like Mr. T has been presenting, even when Mr. T is not presenting use of ICT, but he wants to teach the whole country, he can go on his Blackboard and we can point our phone connected on Zoom and we capture his picture and his sound and relay it on Zoom for the whole country. And that is what we want. We actually want one teacher for the district. We want one teacher for the whole country. And that could be you. And we want you to prepare in this week to reach that step. The second one I picked, let us practice what Mr. Oti has just taught us. Find time to practice and then share with us what you've been able to do, like we have started sharing today. The other one was, is it possible to arrange more workshops? Yes, it is possible. For example, Mr. Oti has called those in Gulu because he's in Gulu. But we are also going as a Ministry of Education. We want to look for alternatives of moving Mr. Oti from Gulu to the rest of the country during his free time on holiday. The question is, do you want to spend 3 hours with Mr. Oti? 2, can you transport yourself if Mr. Oti is in your district? Can you transport yourself to that school where he will be? 3, can you carry a glass of water or a pot of water with you, plus your bananas, so that you eat that as lunch in case we don't have anybody to give us money to do a full-fledged workshop and it is paid for? Can we as mathematics teachers like what we want to be and then move ourselves to that level? Let us discuss all those on WhatsApp, and when we agree that Mr. Oti is coming down to Jinja, for us we look for transport and feeding and accommodation for Mr. Oti to meet with the Jinja teachers for 3 hours or half a day, so that this is done and we all benefit. Software for drawing graphs, yes, on the WhatsApp group, we will continue discussing and get to all those softwares that can be used for drawing graphs. Make use of the Padlet for these 3 weeks. Please make use of the Padlet for these 3 weeks to tell us what you are doing. Read. We have put there a document which says STEM research. And in objective 1, ICT use in education, we have listed what is possible. And some of the possible things is what we have done today. So can we continue to upload materials, and including if you've set your mock exam and you want others to look at it, for now, we can also put it there as an output of using ICTs in collaboration. So let us use the Padlet for the next 3 weeks. I thought, Mr. Kaziba, that those are a few things that I picked from the members as we talked. So let's get more add-ons.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Ronald. Okay, members, the discussion is open. Feel free to raise up your and then you share with us. Yes, let me start with Mr. Wafula Ivan. You can go on and share.
Thank you, Mr. Kaziba. As I said, Mr. Wafula Ivan from Namaingo district. I just have 2 concerns. One, it goes to Mr. Dungu Ronald, who is representing Ministry of Education. In a school where I work, we were given computers from the ministry. That is very good. However, I request that when they are supplying such ICT equipment, they should be also putting a camera. I have seen a camera is very important. And in their supply, they didn't give anything like a camera. So I request that if they are giving any other assistance to schools, please, at least they put a camera for use. Then, I'm also a teacher of chemistry. I request that since he said introduction or integration of ICT in education, so I request Mr. Dungu also to collaborate with the specialists in chemistry so that we also get such services as it is in mathematics. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Ivan. Okay, then Techno Pop 5. Techno Pop 5, unmute. Okay, Techno, I'm failing. Pop 4, Anak.
Mute. Techno speak.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm getting you.
Samuel Opio from Anaka. Actually, we appreciate so much the effort and the initiative. It has been so nice because most of us have not been integrating ICT in our teaching. So what I want to share is that, you know, many schools have challenges, especially when it comes to the hardware, computers and projectors and the necessary equipments required. So I believe it is important if we can sensitize the school administrators so that they can provide to the teachers some of those gadgets required. Secondly, we have many science teachers, especially those who have learned, maybe trained long time ago. They are not really computer literate. And this thing requires someone with a basic knowledge of computer. I now urge my colleagues that if they can train and get the basic on computer applications, it will be very helpful for them. Otherwise, it has been a wonderful presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's hear from Tekno.
Tekno is not aware that he has raised his hand.
Okay. Let's hear from Amag.
Let's give
Alex.
Tekno time. He managed.
Okay.
Tekno, I'm asking you to unmute. Tekno, Tekno, speak to us. And where are you calling from? Where are you calling from, Tekno?
I'm calling from Apache.
Wow.
I just need to appreciate you so much for the initiative you people have started. And I'm so much delighted to attend to your presentation. I just want to say something. There's a challenge to most of the schools in villages where there are powers, the electricity. The challenge affected actually learning so much when it comes to the issue for ICT, because you know this thing needs power when you need to apply it. And however much the school, let's say the school have solar, but this period of rainy period, you find that these schools are affected, like this school of ours. Sometimes the issue of power is a challenge. And how are we going to integrate? How are we going to manage this challenge? Because what I have realized, this initiative is very, very important, and it will help in learning and perhaps actually to push us somewhere. How are we going to manage it? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Then Alex.
Yes,
thank you very much. In the first place, I would like to thank you very much for this meeting. And I would like to just inquire, because when we are also delivering, especially in this new lower secondary curriculum, some of our schools were still behind in terms of the resources. And since this is ICT, like the way it used to happen before, we used to have cyber schools whereby we had online materials which we can access to also aid our learning. Especially now, like for senior threes, we don't have the textbooks. We don't have a majority of the resources. I don't know whether there is already something which like supporting our learning and also teaching process, such that we can be supported, especially in this area of also ICT. Otherwise, I really appreciate what you are doing. And since Ronald is here, he's also presenting Ministry of Education. Some of our schools, we have not received these textbooks. However much, we normally see some of them online in the form of PDF or what, whereby even though it is inaccessible to some of us. So when we're delivering. Otherwise, thank you. I remain Amagu Alex from East Noble, Uganda. Thank you.
Yeah,
Alex,
thank you.
Before you go, I want to know whether you did not receive senior 1 and 2 textbooks.
Senior 1 and 2 we received. However much, even also what we received, we received some, we did not even receive also teacher's guide for some textbooks, but we are just trying to also see even how to support it. And then for senior 3, we have so far received some lot for English, for entrepreneurship, and Kiswahili, but other subjects we have not. Thank you.
Okay, senior 3 textbooks. The distribution has just started, and just a few textbooks, a few subjects have gone out.
Okay.
Sorry for the delay, was caused by quite a number of issues, but we hope we'll go over it. Senior 1 and 2, for those who did not receive Senior 1 and 2, Alex, is this a private school? Eh?
It's a private, yeah.
You're supposed to write to the Commission of Private Schools and indicate the subjects you missed, because there are schools that return the books because they have closed the schools.
Yes, for us, we had written that even.
Okay, so then somebody needs to follow up. Eh? Someone needs to follow up with the Department of Private Schools so that they link you with the instructional materials unit. And then they see if they still have some books in the stores for such schools.
Okay. Thank you.
Otherwise, let me also add, I think Techno was talking about electricity. Even in Gulu, I know that electricity goes on off and it's on and off. Solar could be a solution. And once we show interest, that we really want to use ICTs, then all the education partners working at different fronts will now focus. But if we do not show interest, if you, the one person there, you do not show interest, like Mr. Oti has gone ahead to develop himself. If Mr. Oti is ready to train us and we do not want to commit time, we do not want to commit our own resources, and I really want to use it, but we are lucky, those who are in the mathematics science group, that some money has been, your pay has been increased. May not be a lot again, especially for grade 5, but some money has come your way. Now, for me and Mr. T, who are administrators, we are not actually getting it. But for you, you are getting it as the teachers. If you saved, let's take it 200,000 every month, and your purpose to save for 4 months and 5 months, you can be able to get a reasonable laptop. And if you save 300,000 for 5 months, you can also get a reasonable laptop. But also us at the ministry level, we are looking for such service providers who can work with the school administration such that they can work out a way where you save with the school and the school commits that they will collect money from you, and then they give you these gadgets earlier. So if you're saving for 5 months, you can get the gadgets in the 2nd month, and then we all can now begin to move. But that takes commitment. That takes commitment for you coming out to say, this is what we want. That is on one part. On the other part, as the ministry, we're also looking at an alternative of equipping 2 schools in a district. 2 schools in a district with the right resources, from computers to cameras to projectors and good internet, such that these schools can actually open out on one day for another school to come in and let the students also make use of these services. But most importantly, also for the teachers to train at the center. So we are thinking of creating digital transformation centers, and our friend from UICT would have talked more about that if he was here, at least on the side of training trainers of teachers. We want to work with UCC so that equipment can be placed in these centers, and also RENU can connect the centers to good internet. Mr. Oti is on RENU now as we speak. If there is any other school joining on RENU, they could have listened to Mr. Oti without any challenge. For me, I've had challenges here because I'm using an MTN line. I could drop. But if I was on RENU, if I had the purpose to sit in the RENU office, I would have listened to Mr. Oti without any challenge. So we want to create about 354 schools in this country who are on the same network, such that even when we talk about student seminars, we can gather some senior fours. 600 students can sit in Laibi College. Another 600 could sit in Sacred Heart in Gulu, such that the whole district of Gulu. Then in Arua, we have a Diofe, we have Ombachi who are on the RENU network. So, but in Kampala here, Gayaza, Mengo, very many schools, King's College, Budo, in the east, Tororo Girls, and Mbale SS. There are many, there are about now 103 schools on RENU, and another 90 schools are being connected on RENU this year. So what we want is to spread out these schools, because currently many are in the same districts. We want to spread out these schools. And also now you can see there is an effort. Professor Dorothy talked about the Apache effort. Now the Apache schools, they can actually get connected and also connect through to RENU, such that now that effort can also connect to us easily. And we hope that the initiative by Makerere University can reach Karamoja, so that we also pick up the teachers in Karamoja. We really want to connect this country, and this is possible. As a Minister of Education, we are now writing a strategy to make that happen. And I want to say that in a few years' time, we should be able to talk about this as the past going forward. But let us start somewhere, and we need to start with you who is here today by joining that WhatsApp group, and let us mobilize ourselves, train ourselves, and continue the small things which can build to bigger things. Mr. Kaziba, I thought that I would clarify a few things there.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Ronald. Let me hear from Gulu Ami. I'm saying mathematics lady. Gulu Ami.
Mindful about the time, Mr. Kaziba also.
Thank you so much, the moderator and the organizers of this workshop. Our major concern is about the seminar that is due to take place, because I heard the moderator saying that the teachers are already picking out the question, and as Gulu Ami, we have not yet seen the question, we only heard of the seminar. So would like us to be included in the WhatsApp group so that we can also access the questions and prepare in advance. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. What we are going to do
again? Can we post it in the chat?
Yeah.
But Miss Oti, for the West Nile and Acholi, those questions are on the head teachers group. For the rest of the teachers, you need to get into that group which we are sharing in the chat. And also the West Nile and Acholi teachers get into that group so that you don't wait for the head teacher. Head teachers at times are too busy. They're too busy to deliver that action point. So we need to bring it direct to you through that WhatsApp group.
Okay, yes, kindly join that group. We are going to share again. Yes, Father Bruno.
Father Bruno. Father, unmute. Father, can you unmute your microphone? Yes.
I'm struggling to find.
Thank you so much.
Is how can I'm looking for guidance how I can apply for connection to RENU. I'm from Bukakata Seed in Masaka district.
Hello? Yes, please join, Father Bruno, join that WhatsApp group, and we will keep in touch. If there is committed people like you in that school, then as a ministry, we should be able to think of that school as a district support school. And once we discover that we offer that service to the rest of your friends, then we commit to ask UCC to include that on the list that is that will come maybe in the next financial year.
Okay, thank you so much. With that, I think we are going to end there with the questions. Okay.
Mr. Matumbwe cannot speak to us. He's following where he is. He cannot speak to us. That is okay. I'll go ahead and conclude on this. Ladies and gentlemen,
Mr. Dungwe,
yes,
moment.
Yes,
because
okay.
after you have spoken, I will no longer speak.
Yes, and indeed, please.
I will just request all the participants who have attended this, that please spread this good news to those who did not attend. The recordings are there. I'm very sure it's going to be shared. It may not be complete, but use it as a stepping stone for you to create even a much more powerful presentation. We would love to hear from your schools that we have reached this far. As far as I'm concerned, if you want me to come to your region, I will come, because as I near my retirement, that could be the only legacy I have, to have as many well-informed mathematicians as possible. Somebody talked about teachers who are not ICT literate. They are just pretenders, because even me, at 55 years, I am as good as somebody who is 28. So we should really know that ICT has come to stay. Just imagine during those days, people who are very good with slide, they call it what? Slide rule. Slide rule gave way to mathematical table. People who are very skeptical about the use of calculators. Now we have very many sophisticated calculators, and learning has not gone down. We are looking forward to having phones, tablets, computers among students. Those forces that are trying to stop the use of ICT among students are just wasting time. So it's high time we embrace it fully with a lot of seriousness. I thank you so much for those who have attended. Please spread the good news. When necessary, we can collaborate and cooperate for the betterment of mathematics, not only mathematics, but other subjects as well. With the experience which you have already got in this small sitting, you should extend the good news to others. I thank you so much. Thank you for appreciating what I've done. Let us move forward for the best. God bless you all.
Thank you, Mr. Oti, for the wonderful presentation you've given us today. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you greetings from the Ministry of Education, starting with the Commissioner of Government Secondary Schools, who has actually been one of those supporters of this initiative, and we will be happy to hear of the resolutions we have come up with. Secondly, from the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, who is supportive of transforming education in this country. And just this Monday, we talked about creating a task force to design the strategies to transform education in this country. And I can tell you, though not yet official, that I will be sitting on that task force, and definitely your ideas generated today will definitely reach the last table. And thirdly, by that means that the Minister of Education and Sports, Mama Janet Kataham-Seven, is also appreciative of the effort that you've put forward today. You've demonstrated that it is possible for us to come together as teachers across the divide. You could tell that the whole country can get represented in a call like this. And that means we can reach the last person. And I want to thank Professor Dorothy Okello for mobilizing the team in Apache. I think Apache had no connectivity. We could not talk about connectivity in Apache, but you can see that researchers like Professor Dorothy Okello and the Ministry of, and the Makerere University Engineering Department can actually come up with innovations. And these are the innovations we want to be finding as Ministry of Education, partnering with innovators, and then finding support to move to the last person. I strongly believe that with what you've demonstrated today, we can tell the story to anyone else that this is possible, and we can learn together, first of all. But secondly, we have committed people across the country who can move education to greater height. And for the science teachers we are, I want to say there is nothing that should stop us from moving forward. But remember that we cannot do science without the art subjects. STEAM is the way to go. We need to find that English language teacher who is going to teach us how to communicate better. The students we work with must communicate better in that video when they are presenting mathematics. Next weekend, we have the O-level mathematics seminar, and please take note. The information is going to come to you. And the advice is that when you get the 145 questions that we have set, divide up the students in your school. First of all, pin up the questions and ask the students to divide up in groups and select questions. And then they start to practice, to write down the solutions, and find at least one presenter for your school, at least one presenter for your school. Let them present to you, the teachers and the students, a mock presentation, improve it, and then pick your camera, pick your phone, and point to the blackboard, and let the student discuss part by part. A question may have 4 parts. Let the student discuss part 1, you record and stop. Part 2, you record and stop. Part 3, you record and stop. So these recordings will be short recordings that you can share on WhatsApp, that you can share on the Padlet. Now, for the student to record a fluent presentation, they should, first of all, practice on their own. You listen to their practice and help them add the words so that they speak fluently through the presentation. They write smartly onto the board through the presentation. And if there is a drawing they want to bring, maybe it's a graph, then they have to draw the graph, put it on the chart, and put it somewhere such that they bring it onto the chart, onto the blackboard. Now, when they start presenting, they could show us how the graph is going to be drawn, and finally show us where they want us to end, such that you record very short presentations, but completing a part. And then when you send the parts for us, we shall put them together and get a full video, so that on that day, if we cannot get the presentation direct from Apache district, we can actually play the recording while you listen in from Apache on your recording that you made. With that, it looks like we can now meet everyone, we can find everyone. But even for the schools that cannot bring their students online, the students must discuss the numbers. 145, a student must have 145 questions in their book. And by UNEP, if they have answered all those questions, I can guarantee you the grades will be good. I can guarantee you the grades will be good. But we also have instructions we have given you in that, in the papers we are going to send on WhatsApp, that the solutions can be posted. The solutions can be posted onto the Padlet so that other people who cannot find the solutions can find you with a solution that they can use. On 7th July, we shall have a biology teachers workshop. Now, this is not only about mathematics, it's about STEM, it's about science. We shall have a biology teachers workshop, and that is going to be hosted by Idiofe girls. So we shall be in Idiofe. I also expect to be sitting in Idiofe on the 7th, and we will see if we can reach out to the whole country. And on 8th, we shall have the A-level seminar. And the questions are also going to come your way. Next week, we are finalizing those. They will come your way so that you start preparing the students in the same way. Somebody asked, can we have training for the mathematics paper 1 teachers? Because we are the same teachers, yes. We need someone who has demonstrated use of ICT in paper 1, but Mr. Oti here can tell you that he will come back again and do algebra and other things so that you see how ICT can also come into paper 1. But for this period, we will go up to the A-level seminar for students, because by and large this year, we want better performance at mathematics. We want better performance at biology. Biology was singled out as a very bad subject, poorly done subject, and that's why we are calling on to the biology teachers to meet and talk. We really don't know why in some areas in this country, the students are doing well, and in the other areas, the students are not doing well. And people begin to say it is us, the teachers. Can we meet as teachers and begin to develop ourselves and talk the same language so that we now point to another person? The head teacher did not buy the ICT tools. The head teacher did not do this, but when we have moved the ball out of our court. Otherwise, for now, the ball is in our courtyard and we must play it to ensure that we demonstrate that as mathematics, as biology, as chemistry, as physics teachers, we can do better than we have been doing in the past. And as a Ministry of Education, we will celebrate that education is growing in Uganda. I just want to say that this discussion is also being followed internationally because we relate with our colleagues, international teachers, and very soon we'll also have a session, an online session, when we connect to teachers across the country for them, one, to listen in to what we are doing, but also to tell us what they are doing. And you never know, we might have a team of teachers coming all the way, say from Northern Uganda or Eastern Uganda or Western Uganda, and going abroad in that conference to demonstrate how we use technology in Uganda. I want to thank you for the time you've given us. I want to thank all those who have been on call. Mr. Matumbwe, you've had the issues. Tell the NCDC that for us to implement the new curriculum, we need the right gadgets in the schools, and then Ministry of Education will be prompted also from NCDC side on this. I want to thank Dr. Dorothy, Professor Dorothy Okello from Makerere University. I want to thank the Ministry of Education Officer, Apache. I want to thank everybody who has been on this call. You represent different constituencies. Please tell them that we are ready for the engagement. We want to talk. We want to talk to the DEOs, the Municipal Education Officers. What can we do for the schools in their municipal and local governments? We want to talk to all the innovators in the universities as a ministry. What can we do to support education in this country? We want to talk to the head teachers. If you're DOS, if you're deputy teacher here, I don't know if we, of course, Ms. Soti, you are here representing the head teachers. As Minister of Education, we want to talk to the head teachers. What is it that we can do to close the learning gap in this country? And for the teachers, please tell the other teachers in all subjects that technology has come to stay and we cannot avoid it. As teachers, we need to move ourselves. And let us start. You start by training the other teachers. UICT is ready to make you a better trainer. And we shall give you opportunities on the WhatsApp group so that you train and get certified. But then the most important is pass on the skills to the next person. With that, I want to close this workshop at this point and thank you all. But may I request that you switch on, those who can switch on your videos and we take a photograph. I want to thank all, I've not thanked Mr. Kaziba and the help team. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This would not be possible. As a ministry, we cannot coordinate this. It is you who is coordinating this. Please do not tire. Keep mobilizing us, mobilizing the schools, because the ministry would love to reach out to every other school. Can we put on our videos so that we take some pictures? Mr. Kaziba, I hope you are taking some pictures on that side too. I will just take some more pictures here. And Mr. Kaziba, we can now open the microphones for those who want to greet each other. It is also in order for members to take 5 minutes to say hello to each other. Though it at times when we are with the students, people make a lot of noise, but that is okay. Okay, now it's allowed at this point.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. The people in Maruzi, want to see Maruzi Seed. Yes, Maruzi Seed. I really want to spotlight Maruzi Seed. Let me spotlight Maruzi Seed. Maruzi Seed, can we spotlight you?
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
Apart. This is it.
I want to help you.
Wave to us. Wave to us. Can you wave? Wave Maruzi Seed. Can you wave to us? Wave Maruzi. Yes, you want to take a picture when you are waving. Yes, Dr. Dorothy, thank you so much. This is a good story told.
Oh, was presented? No. That's cool.
Let's meet with your students next week. Please arrange your students for next week. Let's go onto the WhatsApp and get the questions so that you prepare your students for next Saturday. Okay, we are signing off. Mr. Kaziba, I hope. Are we signing off now?
Yes, Mr. Ronald. Yes, Mr. Ronald.
Okay, bye-bye. Please, you can talk to each other. You can say hello to whoever you see. You can tell us where you are so that we hear the many voices at once also.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Practice,
all right, nice weekend, everyone.
Practice to open your microphone. Practice opening your microphone and speaking.
Mr. Dungu, I've seen a number of comments about the WhatsApp group. There seems to be a challenge joining it. I don't know if you can speak to that.
Mr. Kaziba, can you look at that? Give me a minute. Let me see what is there.
There is the answer.
Challenge.
Yeah.
Yes, hello. Hello.
No, members are joining. Members are joining. Members are joining. I think it's okay, Dr. Doros. Members are joining.
Okay.
Oh, Gulu Amewe said, thank you very much.
Mr. Ronald,
yes.
I think Dr. Dorothy Thompson, they wanted to join the other group for West Nile.
No, we shared the one for holistic. The one of West Nile is for head teachers.
Oh,
yes.
okay. Or the maths teachers. Maybe you could share it again. Oh, this is a recent one. Okay, I see.
Let's join that group so that we quickly mobilize ourselves. Members, I'm going to end this meeting now. I'm going to end this meeting now. Otherwise, we will stay here the whole day. Thank you. I'll close the meeting.
Thank you very much. Nice weekend.
Nice weekend to you.